I found that streaming helped me not only find people that were able to, help me and build this community around me with other streamers and with other gamers and stuff like that, but to branch out to different nonprofits and to kind of show them that there's other ways to get people to just have a life, really just to live a life that's worth living and to not feel sorry for yourself all the time. So this is typical of my morning stuff. Except, well, this is like, usually I don't, like I said yesterday, I don't have a couple people, but JoJo comes, she's here on, usually on Sundays and Fridays. And our son's actually a pretty big gamer too, and he's a quadriplegic. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I typically don't see myself in a wheelchair when I dream. Sometimes I do, and in the hospital a couple times I had dreams where like recovery dreams, like, oh, I can get out of bed, I can walk around, but usually it's just like I see it like the first person kind of like I see it like I'm walking around, hey, like how you dream or whatever, just like normal, but I typically don't see myself in like as handicapped in a dream. And I guess consciously I don't like try to not be handicapped in a dream or whatever. It doesn't matter to me, or not be in a wheelchair. I think my brain's just used to dreaming that way, and I spent 36 years, dreaming that way. So I don't think my brain's really kicked in to go, oh, this is what's happened to us. Laura, those things don't work anymore. I was wondering why your finger wasn't moving.
Take me back to the day that you broke your neck. What was that day like?
Freaking awesome. We had bought a boat like 4-5 months before, so we had been like, it was a new family thing, and for us it was our thing too. So we were going to like out to the intercoastal on the East Coast. There's a St. John's River is close by, so we were on the river every weekend. I was like cutting off work and I'm on the boat, meet me on the boat. So it was this big exciting thing. And the place you put in is on a river, so the current is like crazy. And the day was beautiful. It was like, I don't know, like high 80s, low 90s. August 23rd, 2014. We met up with these people and we followed them out to the Gulf side, and we're out probably a couple of hours, about 70 yards off the coast in about 5-6 foot of water, just hanging out, adulting. And I'm a swimmer. I dove off the boat, was diving off the boat, and hadn't had, maybe had a beer or two, hadn't, really gotten into any drinking because they pull you over in your boat. And just one of those dives. I went up to the front of the boat, dove in, and came to floating face first in the water with no ability to move anything, which I wouldn't say I was scared, but I was like, well, this isn't good. I was like, luckily I'm buoyant, I guess, so I was kind of like still at the top floating, but I was face down, so I was doing like that, that freestyle swim thing, where you stick your mouth out of the water and try to like, I'm hollering at people. Tina thinks I'm messing with her, just fooling around, I came to the conclusion that nobody heard me, and I kind of just took a minute the water was like crystal clear. You could see it was like super visibility, like 100 yards under the water. And I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna be screwed. And right at that moment, somebody got me out of the water. Or somebody had noticed me. They ran over, rolled me over so I could breathe, and then got me to the beach. And when I got to the beach, when they passed the boat, I was telling Tina, and they were, saying call 911 and call Fish and Wildlife, call the Coast Guard, call the cavalry and get them over here. Fish and Wildlife came, but they didn't think they could expedite me on the boat. So Coast Guard came. Coast Guard was like, get them on the boat. So they put me on their boat, but then the helicopter came. So they're like, helicopter's better. Took me off the boat and got me on the helicopter. And then I woke up in the hospital in a haze of well, when you have what I had, there's so much trauma to your neck that there's really no coming back from it, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, it's like, all right, well, I don't have to waste a lot of time on physical therapy because I know where I'm at. Which is kind of where I took it. It was like, all right, well, I'm going to focus on all this other stuff and not so much on, the latest stem cell research, which all that stuff's decades away anyways, if even then. For me, the hardest part was, all right, when am I going to be stable enough to get out of here? And what do I have to do to get there? And what I had to do was, one, get off the trach and breathe on my own. So I had to do that. I had to get off the trach. And the VA has certain protocols that they do to get you, they call it weaning. They wean you off the trach. So they were able to wean me off the trach. The other hospital I tried, but they ended up killing me, literally. I hadn't gotten out of bed until I got to the VA. From August to Thanksgiving 2014, I was in bed, getting fed through a tube. A machine was breathing for me, fed through a tube, couldn't drink water, couldn't talk, had to point out a sign with words on it and letters and say, that way, that way, that way. I had found a way to kind of talk with the trach in, but it wasn't like talking. Within a week of being at the VA, I was in a wheelchair doing physical therapy. They got me out of bed and got me in a chair. So having that reality that, oh, I'm not going to be in a bed. I can get out of the bed. Oh, they have this thing that I can drive my own chair with my head. So I started to get this realization that, oh, okay, well, I can get back to regular life, kind of, I can be independent. I can support. I can go back to work. I can. So I started getting all these things and this assistance at the VA that put these I cans in my head. I can do this. I can do that. I can do this. I think the biggest part is understanding first that you need help. That's cliche too, isn't it? First, recognizing that you need help with something. Maybe swallowing your pride a little bit. Getting that mental focus that, there's organizations out there that receive money from people that's meant to help people like me. So then you find those organizations that are there to help people, whatever you need help with. There's an organization out there that'll help you with it. If it's gaming, there's organizations out there. Stack Up was there for me when I first got into streaming. They helped me. I had a laptop at a time that wasn't capable of handling it all. They helped me put a computer together. And that got me started, really. Streaming where it actually was worked well, not clunky and crappy. They got me into a community with gaming. Lining myself up with this frickin' quad stick. So the quad stick itself acts like a controller or a mouse. Well, it can be bound as a controller, a mouse, or a keyboard. Or any conjunction.
Make your computer easier to use.
Or any conjunction or combination of. We're coming up.
Hello, yeah. knock.
Oh.
Whoop! And team killer. Heal up. Heal up.
What the fuck are you on, mate?
Team killer.
I've always been able to set goals and keep myself pretty motivated, and I'm an ambitious person. And when I found it hard to transition when I first broke my neck, I knew that people that didn't have the same mentality would, they slip off, and they're not able to kind of power through it. So that's why I kind of started streaming. I wanted to help them do that. Whether it was being the best video gamer they wanted to be, or just learning how to use the computer again, or just seeing somebody else get out of bed and do something with their life. If that, I don't know if I'm narcissistic or arrogant enough to believe that I'm inspiring people, but I just want to show them that it can be done, and that they don't have to be depressed messes or give up on the things that they want to do. They just got to work at it, and do what they can to make it work for them, whatever that means for them. Because I can't explain that to them, but I can explain to them how to get a ceiling lift, or to talk to charities for help, or to stop worrying about yourself so much, or to not feel like you can't get help because there's somebody else there. Oh, somebody else needs it more than I do. Sometimes you just gotta look yourself in the mirror and go, I'm kind of like the worst one. And I don't feel that way, but at the same time, I'm like, I do need help. And it's hard to ask for that when you come from a background like mine, where you're like, you own your own companies, you are a go-getter, and you don't want to seem like that guy that needs help. If you're in a situation where it doesn't matter, if you're just depressed or you're having a bad day or whatever, just try to give less fucks about it and try to move through it. Life's full of problems. The only way you're going to find happiness is by solving those problems, and a lot of times those solutions bring more problems. So life is just a long string of problems, but as you solve them, you find a little bit of happiness with it, and those solutions build a better life for yourself. So, just suck it up, Buttercup, and kind of move and kind of get through this tough patch, because it could always be worse.